This is the formula video you guys have all been waiting for. All of your questions will be answered here. They will all be kept in one area so that way you can refer back to them. And hopefully this helps someone that is either going through their formula journey now or expects to be in one in the future. Caffeine first. First question was, how did we keep our bottles warm when we were out and about? With our daughter, we went through a colic journey with her, which I can do a whole separate video on that, but we did not really leave the house much with her for the first 5 months. After that, we did travel, but at that point, she didn't really need her bottles warmed up anymore. We kind of did it before that with her colic for helping her stomach. With my son, he was a totally different story. He was an easy baby, not colic whatsoever, and I gave him straight from the fridge water, so it was cold. Best thing you can do is from the beginning is give them cold water because then they will be used to it. But if you have other issues like my daughter had, I understand, because then it comes to just helping them feel comfortable, so I get it. In that case, they do have bottle water warmers that are travel that are amazing. They are more expensive, but if you are a mom and you understand that your baby only takes the water one way, then you will invest in those pieces, especially if you are out of the house often or travel a lot. Next question was, how did I tell the doctors that I was choosing formula over breastfeeding? With my son, I knew confidently why I was choosing formula over breastfeeding. And because I was so confident in my answer, I knew that I was going to have no issue if a doctor did ask me why I was choosing it. And I, luckily enough, didn't have any doctors that questioned my choice, so I didn't have to go through that. But here's what I would say if someone did question my choices. Formula is sold on the shelves as a provided food source for babies. And believe it or not, it wouldn't be sold if it was deemed not safe for babies to consume. Not only is it safe for babies, but it has saved thousands of babies' lives. But on top of that, it is called baby formula. It was formulated for babies, and that is the decision that I am making for my baby. At the end of the day, I am the parent and you are the doctor. In the case that my baby needs treatment or some sort of life-saving surgery, I will ask for their help. But in the meantime, I'm a parent and I'm making a safe decision for my child, and they have to respect that, and that's exactly where I would leave it. Next question was, what milk allergy test did we do for my daughter when we found out that she was highly allergic to dairy, which was the calprotectin test. I'll put it on the screen here. It's extremely easy for them to order it. You order it through Quest typically. You take a sample out of their diaper of their stool, put it into the container, and you drop it off at a Quest lab and you'll get the results. It will typically tell them whether they are a low, moderate, or high level of allergy or no allergy at all. Next question was, how many ounces of formula should a 6.5-month-old drink in a 24-hour period? Now, I'm going to base this on the 12-hour sleep by 12 weeks book that we read because she was more educated and more of a professional in the sense of knowing these types of things, which is, again, I'm not claiming to be an expert in this area. This is just what I've read in books. I'm just sharing my experience. I just want to put that out there. Claims that a baby who is sleep training typically around 3 months should be consuming no less than 24 ounces of breast milk or formula in a 12-hour period. They do not differ. The ounces would be the exact same whether it's breast milk or formula. Ounces can go over that 24-ounce total, but that was the minimum at 3 months. So I would say at 6 months, they should typically be above that at some range. But as long as you're feeding them and once they are done eating, they are happy, they are content, they're not crying, then they are being fed enough. I'll give you my experience with both of my babies. They were happy with 6 ounces at every meal. Now, the frequency of those meals did differ between each baby. My daughter was every 4 hours, 6 ounces for the longest time. And my son actually ate a lot more. So he was a bigger baby at birth. And I think that that's what contributed to that. But he was eating 6 ounces at each meal, but more frequently around every 2 to 3 hours. Last and final question. This was a short video, so if you guys have more questions, feel free to drop them in the comments or DM me and I can make a new video with more questions if there's something that I didn't touch on in any of these topics. Question was, did we try Kendamil Organic, and if so, did we like it? With both of my kids, we tried many different formulas along the entire range that are available. With Tristan, we did try Kendamil. With my daughter, we did not. Tristan, we tried Kendamil Original, Kendamil Organic, and Kendamil Goat. He didn't like any of them. I just noticed, and this would be a sign of intolerance in case this is a question someone would have, but he would start to refuse bottles. He was kind of turning and twisting away from the bottle during feeds. He wasn't finishing the formula quickly, and that kind of gives an idea that they're having an intolerance or they're not really digesting or liking the formula the way they should. Tristan, we started him on Similac 360 because I'm sure this is going to be a question. At the hospital, that was what was given to us, and he did great on it for about the first 2 weeks. But then again, he started showing signs of intolerance. He was kind of showing a little bit of distress, not finishing the bottles as quickly, so we switched the formula at that point. That was when we tried all of the Kendamils and kind of rotated through those. And then we tried Enfamil Gentle Ease, and he did, again, great on that for a few weeks, and then all of a sudden started showing an intolerance to that one. And then we ended up on ByHeart, and he did great on that for around 5 months. At that end of that 5-month mark, I started noticing that his stools were becoming a little too loose. He was kind of having diarrhea issues and having a really serious diaper rash that would not heal for around 3 or 4 days, and I knew at that point it was probably due to the formula, so we wound up switching back to Enfamil Gentle Ease. It was just something we still had on hand. I hadn't thrown the can away, so I figured I'd try it again because he was a little bit older, so maybe he could tolerate it better, and he wound up doing great on it. But then I noticed it was constipating him, so then we started rotating the Enfamil Gentle Ease and the ByHeart. What I would do is that when he was constipated, I noticed he hadn't pooped in around 6 to 8 hours. I would give him a little bit of the ByHeart, and I would feed him that until I saw a poopy diaper. Once he had a poopy diaper, I would switch back to the Enfamil Gentle Ease to kind of stop it up, give his booty a break, and then again, I would rotate the two in the same manner. So I would give him the Gentle Ease. I noticed that he hasn't gone for around 6 to 8 hours. I would give him the ByHeart and wait until I saw a poopy diaper again. I feel like there's typically a lot of questions on how to prepare formula as well. I do have a video on that, but I'm going to touch on that now because I think that's one of the most frequent questions I get in regards to formula. So this is what we did. With both of my babies, for the first 4 months, I used a kettle. It is so much easier. It's automatic. I would fill the kettle up at night because it does get really hot. It's boiling the water inside of it. It's countertop. You press a button and it automatically turns off once it's done boiling. It is literally the most efficient way to boil water for your baby's formula. In the first 4 months, their immune system isn't as developed, so I like to just use it for that period of time just to make sure that the bacteria that are in water and things are not going to disrupt their system at any point. Fill up the kettle right before I went to bed, turn it on, let it boil, and then I would go to sleep, and it would be cooled and ready for the next day for use. I use linked in my like to know it, so if you guys want to shop it, it's one of the best ones I've found. It would be a great baby shower gift if you know the mama is planning on using formula, or something to put on your registry if you're planning on using formula. So if you guys have any more questions, please feel free to drop them in the comments below. Be formula feeding, whether you're a new mama, a seasoned mama, or a mama to be. I love being your formula resource. And as always, thank you for being here and hanging out with me.